Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Fake Nerd Book Club. This time, where we are finally, after years, getting back to our runs. No, not the kind of thing where we have to go visit the toilet every once in a while, but our comic runs, where we are able to go through an entire comic line and talk about it as a whole. The entire series, not just single volumes. We haven't done this for a while, but we're picking back up with the one that started it all, Wasted Space. In the time that we haven't been doing this, Wasted Space concluded, and we were eagerly anticipating getting back and finishing the story. So we are coming back with Wasted Space Volume 4, which is the second to last volume. It has issues 16 through 20 of the epic and raunchy space saga. Oh yes. And of course, I am Sparks Witty. I'm joined, as always, by Ryan Eliopoulos.
I'm so happy to be back in this waste of space.
Ben Magnet is here as well.
I'm not going to lie. I missed these characters. I missed them a lot.
And of course, Brandon T. McClure.
I am also incredibly happy to be back talking about Wasted Space after all this time.
The whole pandemic.
I'm so glad I read the first 3 volumes before I read this, because I did not remember them as well as I thought I did.
Yeah, it helps having this big collection that just came out, which was one of the onuses to get back into it.
Yes, right. At a certain point, Ryan and I were just waiting for the omnibus to come out. The omnibus is now out from Vault Comics' whole big boy book collection that we both have of Wasted Space. For those catching up, or for those who aren't familiar, Wasted Space, we did the first 3 volumes. It was one of the first things we did for the YouTube video series of Fake Nerd Book Club. So it's our first episodes on both the video and audio feed, so you can go all the way back. And
if for some reason you're checking out issue 16 for your first episode,
just know, or like you just didn't look back at the feed, and they're like, where's volumes 1 through 3? Well, that's where they are. They're back at the beginning of the feed, as well as an interview with Michael Moreci that we did just after finishing volume 3, when the series was still not finished. So we are picking back up volume 4. Here we go. Excited to be here, friends. How we all feeling about coming back to Wasted Space? Is it still excellent?
The answer is
yeah.
Excellent.
It feels really nice to come back. It's almost like this is like they make a great joke in, I think it's the last issue that we read of this volume. It's almost like we're some type of like guardians of a galactic, that's not coming to me. And I'm like, man, it's a really like raunchy version of that. And not to, directly compare to something else, but like these characters are so fun, and they all have their faults, but they're all really lovely. And like where we are now, coming to Earth for this volume, and this whole arc being about like, can people change? Like if you did bad things, can you become better? Like, which is the whole thing, but like centering around this new character we meet on Earth. Just really enjoyed it, really loved it. I love the Legion stuff. What a fun character. The creator is getting more and more attention as we get closer to the end, and like, just what an asshole. Like, I mean, everyone loves jet skis, like, Loki represent, I get it. Just really great. And I'm happy to be almost at the end. Sad to see it's over, but happy to be here.
Real quick, I do want to say, I've already mentioned this is written by Michael Moreci, but the art, incredible art, is done by Hayden Sherman, with colors by Jason Morty.
Oh yeah.
This is a gorgeous comic we've talked about before. The art continues to be phenomenal. I really, really enjoy it. So I do want to highlight Sherman's contribution as well. Picking up at volume 4. There's a lot of stuff going on. We are in the thick of. I'll be honest with you guys. Like when I was getting into this, I was a little nervous about, did we do it one too many times with Billy? Did we go back to, no, forget it, I'm gonna be better? Oh no, I'm not.
Oh sure.
Did we do it one too many times? And I feel like we just barely skirted out of. This okay. Yeah, we're okay.
I think because now he knew it was gonna be 25 issues. Like this was the final time for him to be a fuck up and be like, dude, you got to do something about this.
Right.
And this is the one specifically because it is going back to the beginning with May and stuff. Like, it is kind of like a full circle thing of like, oh no, this is literally the thing that I wanted this entire time, and it turns out like it's not what I want. It's not what I need.
It's one final trial for Billy, right? Because he comes to Earth with the intention that I've just been on this planet, I've changed, I've got my friends back. We're gonna kill the creator as a team. We're doing this, and then Margaret shows up looking like May, and he reverts. He's like, oh, actually, I'm good. I've got what I want.
Like,
But he doesn't know
instantly.
that's what he's doing because he's a bullshitter. He's a bullshitter to himself. He constantly will lie to himself, and I think because of that, they get away with doing this again. Because now finally you can have like, shit. All right, this was the last time I fucked up. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, we're gonna do this for real now.
Yeah, I think that it being this copy of May is kind of the only way that you can kind of allow Billy to backslide a
Yeah,
little.
it had to be something like
it had to
significant.
be it had to be this anything less, and it would have been like, come on,
Yeah.
man. And I appreciate that, like Dust recognizes like, oh, this is really bad. This is the worst.
The second, he opens the door and he sees something that looks like May, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah.
It's over.
For the longest, because I remember some of my first criticisms or not criticisms, but the first things about the book that I was talking about was how much I hated Billy. And like, I want to say maybe volume 1, but possibly volume 2, where he got a little bit better. But yeah, I completely agree. The constant times, him screwing up, him saying, this is the last time I'm going to screw up, and then just him reverting back into his old habits again. It's just like, dude, why? And the second Margaret showed up and he calls her May, I'm like, okay, this kind of makes sense. Because honest to goodness, if I was in his situation, I'd probably do the exact same thing. Like, you lose the person you love, there she is, even though it's not technically her, pretty damn close.
You think it's your fault, so like you feel like renewed of your sin. So like, oh, I don't feel bad about the thing that happened, so like I can go back just to the way things used to be, just because how easy it is to be comfortable.
Yeah, but the whole thing with Margaret, I think, was just a great jump for Billy to be like, no, you have to, end the creator. You have to do this. That, like, when you said this was Billy's last trial, 100% agree. And I was like, or when Spark said this was Billy's last trial, damn it, why do I keep messing that up?
Brandon. It was Brandon.
Son of a.
Oh, that's okay.
Now I feel like you guys are screwing with me, but
no.
We were both trying to point to Brandon.
Whoever said Billy's last trial, Brandon, 100% agree. And
it's okay. I don't remember saying that.
And I won't lie. I really did miss all these characters. I missed their antics. I had a great time reading this. This was so much fun to get back into. Dust MVP. Love that guy.
Always.
I don't know if we brought this up 3 years ago, but he absolutely is doing the Henry Cavill mustache situation going right now.
Yeah.
I specifically one picture I took. I'm not gonna pull it up, but like the angle, and like you just drew. That's just Henry Cavill. That's just Henry Cavill, man, in from Fallout, and I'm not mad about it. I love it. Looks great. So going to Earth, they're going to Earth because that's where like they pinpointed where the creator is like hanging out or whatever, right? And they're gonna go kill God. They get to Earth, and when they arrive in like Dodger Stadium, and there's a standing ovation of people waiting for them, and that throws them completely off guard. It throws me off guard, and then Olvin shows up, some guy from Billy's past. He's like, oh, Billy, the voice of the creator, what's up? I'm so glad you're here. We love the creator here. Everybody loves you. And then great shit happens from there. But like when we get to Earth, like what was your initial thoughts about like Olvin and like all this stuff? Like what did you expect to happen? Like did you expect this or anything similar? Or did you expect to like, oh, we're just gonna go infiltrate the creator's house?
I'll be real. I have had an image of Wasted Space in my head that I am now sure from a different comic. Of the creator sitting on a throne of skulls, and the reveal being that Earth is a desolate wasteland. And so, like, I had that image in my head that I superimposed into Wasted Space all these years later. So when we got to Earth, I was like, oh, this is not what I expected at all. I thought it was going to be this desolate wasteland where there's no people left alive and just the creator just chilling there. But no, it basically looks the same.
They still have Mountain Dew.
We still have Mountain Dew, and it's the greatest thing ever.
And jet skis.
And like, what I kind of like is like, it's clearly in the future, but like not that different. It's not that different from what LA is now.
It's like Blade Runner almost. Yeah.
If I could say, I wanted to talk about this this one line for a very hot second because I thought it was so funny because I thought the exact same thing when I was a kid. When they're talking about Lost Angels, aka Los Angeles, and then they said, yeah, it must be like a nexus point because there's a bunch of religions. Oh, hey, Scientology. That sounds great. A religion about science. Because when I was a kid and I heard Scientology, and basic science told me that if the suffix ology was attached to a word, that meant it was a study of. So one time I told my parents I wanted to be a Scientologist because I thought, hey, a scientist of all sciences? That's like some really cool Doc Brown shit. I want to do that. And my parents were like, no, you don't. That's not it. And I'm like, but that's so confusing though. Doesn't ology mean...
Welcome to Xenu.
No.
And something else. I don't know. That's all I know about that religion.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit, if that's okay, and mention one of my favorite things ever. And I forgot, and I'm so grateful reading this, reading all through the volumes prior to this once again, because I forgot how funny this book was. Like, this book is really funny. And one of my favorite moments is in this book when it's just like, for 5 seconds, can we focus on something else? And then they look at you, they look at the audience, and then it's just Wasted Space presents The Adventures of Legion.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
I don't know what, it might have been in one of the previous volumes, because again, I read a lot of this over the last 2 days. I read all of this, the 20 issues over the last 2 days. But there's one where he's like, man, that's a lot of wasted space. And it's like, it looks right at the panel, like right at us, and I'm like, you know what? I'll let you pass on this one. This one's pretty all right. Yeah. You can't do it all the time, but I'm gonna allow it this time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in one of the previous ones.
Yeah.
But it's a good gag.
Yeah.
Legion's been one of our favorite characters. Yeah. Just for how unique, and it's really cool to get Legion's history.
Oh, absolutely.
In this story.
I love this Prometheus ass like way of like, it's just people who are more powerful than you, but they also are just regular. They're just people still. Like they just create, but they don't have the answers either. I love that it's just that over and over again. No matter how big you get, I just created something. I don't know.
Mogo.
Yes, absolutely.
Or ego. I guess ego or Mogo. Yeah, some living sentient planet.
I really like the idea of it though, like as a deity that like they bound their consciousness to the planet over which they rule, because that way the people in them would share the same destiny. So they wouldn't feel as guilty by like, if I screw them over, I screw myself over too.
This is just like really intense work. That's a lot of work by Hayden Sherman. That's incredible stuff. Every page in the Legion one is like really, really cool.
Yeah, I really, it's such a nice little detail because like when we're talking about this planet, Sparks, which when he says like, I bound my consciousness, my very being to the planet over which I rule, it's like, does that help? No, the people are destroying the world with pollutants killing us all. The planet is sad,
right?
Like when we meet the planet, it's got a sad face, and it's unnecessary, but it's that kind of detail that I just kind of like in this artwork. That it's just is the planet sad.
And when he meets his god, like you've answered my call, and he's like, "Yo, man, life is just what it is. There is no good or evil, just what it is." And like he's also very sad. So when Legion destroys him out of anger, he says, "Thank you." Because he's just been living sad, like rotting away. And he inherits his godlike power. And he's like, I'm going to do it better. And he realizes you can't. You can't.
God, I love this page.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lovely shit. I love it.
I pulled it for the audio listeners. I pulled up the page where it's this big Legion, just 2-page spread. Brilliant.
Yeah, getting out the godlike powers. That whole... I love how Moreci can write stories in this. Well, obviously, that's one overarching story. There's a lot of philosophical bits in here, but it's also extremely hilarious. But reading the Legion issue was so profound as like, what does it mean to be a god? What does it like really? What does one go through? Not just to ascend to godhood, because in a bunch of our pop culture and fantasy stories that we've read, you have a lot of these characters who are trying to achieve godhood. Who are trying to to be like to do this so they could rule over everything and supreme being to be the supreme being, and that they get and it bites them in the ass some way. Like case in point, Jafar when he becomes a genie gets trapped in a lamp.
Sure.
But then you have Legion, who doesn't want it, who goes to his god for answers because he's pissed. He doesn't go there and like, oh my lord, I worship you. Essentially, he's like Gore the God Butcher without being Gore the God Butcher. And like you said, he kills his god out of sheer anger and it's essentially spite. And he takes this godlike energy. He's like, damn it, I didn't want this. This is bull crap.
Well, but he even says like, all right, well, if I have this, I'm going to do this better. I'm going to be a good god. I'm going to give the people what I didn't have, and his people still kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, what's the point then? Like, what are we?
Yeah.
What does anything matter if this is all just going to happen no matter what we do?
And that is kind of like that is the lovely thing. And which was again, I'm so glad I reread this because all the stuff with Fury is so good.
Yes.
Dust, like Kill Lover, all the stuff with her in therapy, how she is like a murderous assassin, and she's like, yo, I need to do the work. I got to work on myself. And like, I love this book that it's allowed to be this big, ridiculous sci-fi book, but like, it's kind of like, it's not subtle about what it's trying to say. And like, it's really in your face with its emotions. And I really, really appreciate it. Because sometimes you just need to have like a real ass conversation with someone, even if it's like a cyborg person, because they're allowed to have real ass conversations too. Right. And that's the type of thing that like comics sometimes shy away from. Cause like, oh, you have to be like this. I'm like, no, you can have the dude, the big orc man. And he's also a character, but he's like, you know, he's really silly and funny, but he's also a character with thoughts. And I'm like, Moreci's so good at making it feel real when it needs to be.
I want to quickly go back to the planet, to the planet god, because he says something where he says, I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, we don't know where we come from or why we're gods. Is there a god above us? Like, you know, the answer that like even the gods in this universe don't know where they come from, don't know their purpose. He has this great line that I love, which becomes Legion's credo. The reason why Legion puts Billy on this mission is I have lived since time began, yet still I do not know. Heed my words, friend. The cosmos needs freedom more than it needs gods.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a really electrifying, as Ryan was saying, just a conversation between a planet and a god. Like, it's really frankly, it's really difficult to make that really interesting visually when it's just a person floating there and talking to a planet that can't emote.
Yeah.
But the way Hayden Sherman draws it and the way Michael Moreci writes it, it's so compelling, and it just flows by.
And again, like it in other books with other writers, like they would feel the need to make these characters feel grandiose and have like the dialogue bubbles be like taking over the whole screen, or you know, like saying like you like very Shakespearean stuff. But these just feel like people talking. And again, it doesn't matter the size of the person or what or the god level. It's just like you connect on an emotional level to no matter what type of character it is, as long as it's well written. And luckily, Moreci's a good writer.
Right. I really like that you highlighted it, Brandon, because I was going to do so. The freedom over gods thing that is given to Legion, and that we finally contextualize what Legion's whole thing is, which is Legion interferes anytime a god is constraining freedom.
Yeah.
And the biggest and baddest that he's been waiting for has been the creator.
It's like a physical representation of the Force, almost like good and evil, almost like Legion's like, all right, gotta come balance these Sith out. They're being bad boys. Gotta balance the universe out.
He even says like, I made myself Legion, and we watched vigilant for when the wrong gods arose, the kind of gods who interfered with life, the kind who believed freedom was a prize to be hoarded, an ideal to be sought.
Mm-hmm.
And the dialogue in this creator book is for sure.
The dialogue in this book is so good. Like I totally forgot.
Yeah, the way he writes the creator too, he's so fun. Again, like going to the end of like the jet ski moment, he's like, yo man, I can give you back your girl, money, people will love you. Look at jet skis. Aren't jet skis awesome? You can have all this. And you don't even have to like me. I don't even need you to like me. You don't even need to like really do anything. Just like continue to like just be Billy. And like, hey, I'm tied to the creator. And that's enough because people are stupid and people will listen to anything.
What's so sinister about what the creator does in that moment, because you brought up the jet ski moment, I want to go back to a little bit before that, which was when the creator pops up and he goes, hello, Billy. Oh man, don't do that. Billy says, I'm sorry, man. My bad.
My bad.
Like the creator says my bad because he's approaching Billy as a friend. And he's like, well, I've been thinking, Billy, I figure since we're going to be spending more time together and since you're down a best friend, maybe we can be best friends. And like, it's so sinister because you know that the creator is an evil person, but he is appealing to Billy in a way. He's like, I can be what Dust was to you.
Yeah.
But I can be better because we can ride jet skis together. Aren't jet skis cool, Billy? It's so sinister. I love it.
What's really fun is like, we're nearing the end of the book and like we know that like despite being gods, like they can be killed, right? So like we learn all about like how the creator like is how he's able to like manifest himself around the world, which is really cool idea. He's using this like basically the souls of other people. But like he's scared now. Like we're reaching to a point where Billy has not died, he has not been defeated, and no matter how much power the creator has, he knows that like he could be defeated. So like I think he now is having to manipulate him in a different way. Instead of being like, I'm going to kill you, he's like, actually, we can be buds. There's no reason to fight me. So I think like without saying it, I think it's showing his tail a little bit. Like he's a little scared.
Right, because like Legion's story at the beginning also serves very much to the purpose of like the creator's definitely killable.
Yeah.
He's beatable. This is not an unachievable goal. And I really like that. I actually wanted to highlight before we left Legion's story completely the I will not do, because we've questioned like why isn't Legion killing the creator? Billy's question, why isn't Legion going and killing the creator himself?
Yeah.
I will not do the deed myself, for this is my edict. I teach the universe one simple lesson. You made your gods, and you can tear them down if you want.
Woo! Love that.
Yeah. That's a good line. And then it's what's great about this book is that it's capped off with a boner joke, which is only something that Wasted Space can do, right?
Yeah. I brought up, I said dick crystals earlier, but like, yeah, there's a whole thing where like they get these ice crystals and they're like, yo, like this must do something really incredible, right? And it just gives people boners. And then they're like, yo, let's go to the sex planet and give these to the people who need it because we can get money for this. And I'm like, yeah.
There's one line, I'm going to try to find it real quickly, which was about it, kind of. Where was it? The mighty boner crystals of Globetrob. I'll take a crate myself. You can never be too prepared when it comes to getting your man to stand at attention. Hey, Billiam.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what's this barbarian's name? Tyrone?
It's like with a T.
Tyran.
Tyran. Yeah, I think it is Tyran actually. That dude's awesome. He has a great moment exactly. He gets hit with a dart. He's like, a single dart. What will that do?
That is a lot of darts.
That's a lot of darts.
Yeah.
He's really fun. I'm happy that he's part of the crew in this volume. Yeah. We get rid of Rex for a volume because he comes back at the end of this volume. But it's nice to have this character. He's such the opposite of Rex, and he's so much fun to play around with as a character. He brought such a fun energy to the book.
Yeah,
100%. I really like everything about this book. I really like the stuff I think the most with Olvin, the preacher man that we meet. Who turns out to be like a rebel, who gets killed by.
And we have reason to distrust him because we saw him earlier, and we were like, oh yeah, that guy's piece of
100%. And like,
the whole time, the second they landed on Earth, and they see like this big open welcome, they see Olden. The whole time I'm like, sus. Like I was like, something's up, something's wrong. And then when it was revealed that Olden, like he's like, when he says, "I will never love the creator. I'm doing this so we can destroy him from the inside." I'm like, oh, like even when that is revealed, I don't trust him until Viceroy murders him.
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
second the Viceroy shows up and kills him, I'm like, oh, he actually was on our side.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I love that because again, like just like Spark said, like we have no reason to trust him. Like no, the book has not given us anything yet, outside point of view to trust him. So like we're just going in with the same Billy perspective.
You're absolutely correct. There's no reason why we should trust him. But I do want to highlight a line that he talks about to what he says to Tyron. He says, you know what the one core immutable tenet of faith is? It's actually quite simple: love. You need love to have faith, because from love springs trust, belief, sacrifice, empathy, and kindness. Make no mistake, Tyron, I will never love the creator.
Yeah.
And I it's such a good kind of distillation of what faith should be. You know, like this idea, like what we're trying to talk about, like not to get a little political, but like like faith. So much of what we see with like televangelists and with the Republicans, with the faith-based Republicans specifically, is that so much of this fear aspect that you have to be fearful of God. The fear of God is what puts your faith in you. But to distill what faith truly is as the love of something, to love your God, to love your neighbor, to put your faith in something is to love something. Such a brilliant way to look at it. Such a really nice way to put. And it goes back to like, this book's not subtle. Like we talked about it just like 20 minutes ago. This book's not subtle. It's beating you over the head. But the way Moreci writes is really poetic, I find, in this book. And it's such an interesting way to look at this sort of thing because, it's not subtle, but it's poetic in a way.
And to bring up Ben, what you were saying about like when the Viceroy, who's like Viceroy, I don't know what that dude is, but he's awesome. Like, is he like a robot skeleton man? Because like I'm all about it.
Grievous.
Very grievous, absolutely. But yeah, like when he goes in to confront Olvin, and he's like, "Tell me everyone you're working with," and then he's like, "Nah, dog, this ain't it." And I'm like, "Oh no, he really is a good guy. This is awesome." He gives a whole speech, and the only thing he gets a response with is, "Who are you working with? Who are you working with?" That was a mistake. You're dead now. And I'm like, damn, they skinned him alive.
On top of that, he's also like quoting works of art and things that have been created by humans on Earth.
Yes.
But specifically, I was taking that as like things he appreciated about what Earth could make before the creator got there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took it the same
Love
way.
It.
Yeah. I wanted to talk or extrapolate on Brandon's point about how Moreci writes this and how this book isn't subtle, but it's also very poetic. I know there's books that we've read and we've talked about that are not subtle, and they bash you over the head with their message, be it political, faith-based, or whatever. And it's to a point where it's like, all right, this isn't good, not subtlety. This is an example of very good, not subtlety. As in, like, we know this book isn't subtle, but it's written in a way that, it's bashing you over the head with it, but it's not annoying. It's not
it's earnest.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100% earnest, and even though you know exactly what Moreci and what the characters are trying to convey, you feel for them. They're talking. The way Moreci can string the words together. It's not sounding preachy. It's not sounding condescending. It's not sounding like you said. He's talking earnestly. It's like you're actually listening to what people talk about, what people debate about, just like ordinary people, and they're not trying to force their opinions on you. They're just like, look, this is how the way we see it. That's how it is. That's just how that's just how we go. And it's oddly enough a very big breath of fresh air, because a lot of time when books like this this book, I wouldn't say this book is super politically charged, but when books deal with a certain thing, essentially this book is trying to go out and kill God, you get like a certain I'm a little trepidatious, because a lot of times those type of books are like really like super pro-atheist and like super like bashing stuff over the head. And it's like, everyone who believes in faith is stupid. It's like, no, I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Whereas with this book,
I do. Sorry, I didn't want to say I do.
No,
anyway,
it's all right. Either with this book, it's like I could see the argument of the other side. I can see what they're trying to say. Like the whole jumping back to Legion, where the planet, like when Brandon pointed out the planet land, where it's like the cosmos needs freedom more than it needs its gods. It's like a profound thing. It's like, damn.
Yeah. There's
a great reference of and the creator came down to Jurassic Park and he commanded, "Hey, I haven't gotten to the creator's Fast and the Furious street racing miracles yet." Good to know in the future some things are always alive.
Yep.
Fast and Furious 47 probably, or we talked a little bit about Billy's kind of back to his old stick in this book, and there's a lot of that here. I do think that what's important about Billy's turn in this book is that Dust has finally had enough. He's been on the edge in the last volume. He was like, I'm not gonna be with you anymore, Billy. I'm gonna go off and do this thing because I want to do that. But he didn't tell Billy off. He's still very much like in Billy's corner, and he's like, Billy, blah blah blah. But now he's like so done with Billy's bullshit, because Billy has this line where he says, I want to know what I want to know what the galaxy or galaxies or whatever the F looks like with the creator gone. How is it going to change? It's the classic chicken and the egg head scratcher, Dust. Does the creator make people selfish, hateful assholes? Or is it the fact that people are naturally selfish, hateful assholes that gave birth to the creator? And Dust is like, you don't even believe this anymore. What are you doing? Like, he's just done. And he has this great page. There's this great page here, this great panel here where it's just Dust and where it's just Dust yelling at Billy, and Billy is just not really not receiving it, but Dust is just kind of yelling at him he says, you know what I think you got what you wanted, meaning you got May back, or whatever effed up replica that is of her, and you're willing to sell everything and everyone else out because of it, because Dust now realizes you don't believe any of this crap that you've been spouting for the past 20 issues. You're just doing whatever you want to look after yourself, and you're making up this bullshit to make yourself feel better about it. But that is not the case anymore, and I've had it. And he finally throws him in the pool, and he's just like, I'm done. I'm finally done.
You can bleach my robe? The chlorine.
Yeah. I appreciate that that's a point where Dust got to, and like doing the arc of that and everything. For me, it's that I think the arc of Billy learning the screw up lesson in the last volume was better than here. And even though like May is the thing that pushes him into this space.
That's the nuke one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't the nuke one's volume 2, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, they're blending a little.
That's okay.
But the point being, like, up to this point, the previous time where he comes back and he's like, I think I need to just like accept that, not everything needs to be shitty. Like, because like if nothing, it's the speech he gives to Molly where he says if nothing matters at all, that doesn't mean that doesn't that mean that everything can matter the same?
Yes.
And like that kind of thing. And I think that revelation and arc is just better than what Billy goes through as Billy here.
I agree with that.
And that's why I'm like a minor bit down on doing this with Billy again.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to like push him backwards because of May and everything, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more of a struggle we saw with him over those points, rather than I'm gonna be brain pilled now until I decide I'm done. And that part I found just not as strong as Billy's previous, like, oh shit, I've learned the lesson arcs.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. No, I do remember. I do like the end of volume 3 when that you're referencing, which is the two of them in space, just kind of having a heart to heart. Oh, I'm sorry. I just flipped through this page. I just want to highlight. It's just very funny. It's when Tyron has won a stuffed bunny, and he's just so excited about it, and he's just like, I won this thing. Just very funny book.
They go to a theater, and Tyron's
oh my god!
Come now, Dust. The theaters are the great meeting place, the symposiums, I say, of any culture, and it's a porn theater.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when Dust is like, "Are you even looking at the screen?" And when he does, he goes, "Hounds of Hades, what have they done to the theater?"
Yeah. That, and I really love the capper at the end of Molly's shut up, sir, everyone knows what you came here to do.
We know what you came here to do.
Yeah. And then Tyron just, what did he come here to do?
What a innocent barbarian, man.
I love it. I love this book so much. I'm glad.
There are two bits. Well, I'll let Ryan.
I just want to show the Viceroy.
Oh.
What a great murder panel. Like really, really effective.
I want to highlight just in the art when Billy does first see Margaret and he says May, and he's got the tears in his eyes. It's just a really powerful final page of an issue. But I, as a ridiculously huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes, have to highlight the opening of issue 20.
Love it.
With Billy and Dust in the style of Calvin and Hobbes
after Watterson, it says,
as he's having after Watterson is really good, as he's having this dream of interpreting what Dust did.
Love it.
It's really good. It's really good, really clever. It's drawn so well.
So we learn about the creator, And I think this is a really awesome development. The creator is not just like a physical dude who just like floats around. He's a parasite, and he uses people willingly to house him and to give him more power, almost like Horcruxes in a way. And with faith, he's able to basically be like almost like immortal if people believe in him like that. So like that is such an incredibly cool idea that like even like first of all, he doesn't even need unwilling victims. People are willing to do this no matter what because it's God. Hey, God, will you? I will absolutely be God's host. Absolutely. And he has that for infinitum for the rest of his life. That is
this
so
is how he's
sweet.
able to appear in different places so frequently.
Yeah, it's like a hologram basically, or like a spiritual hologram. I just think it's a really, really cool idea. Like it makes his threat so much more sinister and evil, and it's like grand in scope. Because like again, he's not just like a planet you go and bomb. Like that, he's like it's like an idea. How do you kill an idea? Like that's really cool, and I'm really excited to see how they take him out.
Even they say like you can't. They're all over the planet. We can't get them all. And right now, he's not even on Earth. He's in the other galaxy. He's in their galaxy, screwing things up.
Making a civil war happen or something. Yeah.
Which was the war that ended up with the Power Vacuum Volume 1 when they killed Yam. So like I thought that was a really good reveal. I do want to highlight another moment in this final issue though. It's when Billy he's decided like I'm going to go back to my friends and we're going to kill the creator. And he's talking to Margaret and he's like, and he picks like literally like 3 panels, large word bubbles of just this pleading, like, this is why we're gonna do this. This is why it's good. And she just goes, "Oh, Billy, we knew you'd turn soft in the end." Yeah. And he just goes, "And I love you too." Wait, what?
What? She activates her lightsaber.
She activates her lightsaber. What I really like about Moreci's writing, and I've said this in the first 2 volumes, I remember, is that through the way the panels are laid out and through the way the faces are, and this is also on Hayden Sherman's art, through the way the faces are drawn, the dialogue is written. It's a letter. I also want to highlight what's the gentleman's name real quickly. So sorry, Jim Campbell. There's the letterer for all these issues. This is all 3 of them working together as one entity to create what feels like very believable dialogue that you can read and you know exactly how they're saying it, what the delivery feels like, and it feels so natural. It doesn't feel like someone should have said a contraction here when they didn't. Like it feels very much like when you see like, oh, cool. Like you hear that and you're like, it comes across really well. And so when you see this two panel here, he's with the sincerity face where he's just like, "And I love you too," and then this face points you to exactly how he's saying, "Wait, what?" It's like so good. The creative team on this book is just working on all cylinders when they're working together. It's brilliant.
100% agreed. So yeah, it turns out that May, it's not going to work out. So she activates, and the creator's like, "All right, Billy, you had your chance. I gave you everything you wanted. All right, snap. I'm going to tell everyone that you killed the Pope." Devilish Yam. I almost called him Ham. Deviled eggs and ham. And then the entire world just immediately is also activated. They're like, "Billy Bane, he killed Yam!" And the final page is, "So do you still think he can kill me?" As he's running from hundreds of people on the street. That's awesome. That is awesome way to end an issue. I'm so stoked.
That's not the end of the issue, but
sorry.
Couple pages towards the end, but it's a brilliant page that I'm holding up here.
Also, just a funny ass line was like, "We were gonna go snowboarding tomorrow."
Oh yeah.
What is this giant spider creature on Earth?
Yo, they do. If you look at, they got werewolves. Yeah. When I was rereading these issues, there was definitely a Krang from TMNT in the dude with the like the glasses and the pink spikes. That dude was definitely in one of those issues. There's a lot of weird things in this one.
Hayden Sherman's
that's Predator. We're straight up, Brandon, on the right page. There's just straight up just a Predator.
Oh, where?
In the top under a big that's a Predator.
Huh.
We can have fun.
I
We can
love
have
this.
fun. It's a little cameo fest, I bet.
This is I'm sure it is. I remember reading Birthright, and Andrea Sorrentino, I believe that's the writer's name. That's the artist's name. Was there's like a trophy room, and if you look in that trophy room, there's the crocodile from Hook, there's the Ark of the Covenant, there's Genie's lamp, and like there's all sorts of fun little nerdy details that you can point out if you're familiar with all these properties. It's really fun.
Dust activates kill mode 3, and then
Yes.
it's like, and Molly's like, oh no, what do I have to do? Did you have to do? Is this over for all of us? And then Billy runs in yelling bubble bath.
Yeah,
and then Dust is just like, oh hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, is everyone okay? Love it.
There's a great line here. So it's Tyron is like, I think I heard some people outside who wanted to battle. Definitely outside, far away.
Definitely outside, far away.
But I really like Dust because he's, he knows he can take. He's gotten his ass kind of kicked here, but like he knows he can still kill this guy, this viceroy. And he says, Billy, now's not a good time, because Billy calls him, and he says being held up by his neck by this viceroy. He just goes, who's going to kill you? Just say goodbye already. Look, the viceroy is just like impatient. Just say goodbye already. Let's do this. Billy, hang on. I'll be with you in a moment. I think it's really fun. I really like I like this book a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
When I said I missed these characters, I actually did. I 100% meant it, because it's been years since we last read volume 2 or volume 3, excuse me. And just the antics of Molly, Dust, Billy, Tyron, all of this entire book was so much fun to read. It was so much fun to get back into the world of Wasted Space for this. And I'm like, man, part of me is kind of bittersweet that the next volume is like the end of it. But at the same time, I'm actually really happy, because it's like 25 issues, nothing to sneeze at. But also, I'm really excited to see how the story ends. Like, I have not been this excited to get to the end game of a comic book in a very long time.
Just a final note on the ending. I forget their names, any other names, but like the Tyron's original crew comes back to help them, so they'll probably show up in that final volume. I like that crew. The leader goes up to Dust and is like, "It looks like you've been a busy boy, Dust. Oh well, and all of the hard days' work. I hope you haven't worn yourself out too much," because they were banging hard. And in the last volume, I remember he says about her, she has more virality than I ever could. Like, she wears me out, and he's a robot. So that's hilarious.
Right.
I love that. She's spicy.
I'm glad that I was nervous at the end of the previous volume that Rex wasn't going to be part of the end of the story. So I'm glad that that's come back around.
I need to know how good Mountain Dew. That thing amazing.
I was really happy to see Rex, which was surprising, because Rex is a character that even in the last volume when Rex was like, "Hey Billy, I'm going to go with them," also he's like, "Rex, I didn't even know you were still here."
Yeah. And he had a good arc, like he the kitten sister, the stuff and stuff like it's cool that everybody that we meet is going to go with us forward into the final volume.
We'll still have to see. I expect some final appearance of our one friend who's not here at the end. Yeah,
Fury. Oh, I bet she'll do like a big Captain Marvel blow up. Oh yeah,
I'd like to see her show up and as Adam Warlock in Guardians 3.
She is like half gold now.
Just like flying through space. We're just like stuck on her head for a minute.
Yeah. Heart plays in the background. It says it's written. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm really glad we finally got to do this last volume. I don't think I have much else I can say other than just like pointing out lines of dialogue that I liked, because this book is filled with tons of fun little snippets and things, and I'm always laughing, I'm always thinking, I'm always admiring how good the artwork is. I love it. By the way, this is a note for volume 1 and 3. When we see Dust's penis in volume 1, it's a smiley face, and when we see Billy's penis in volume 3, it's a sad face, and I just thought that's really funny.
That is really good. I definitely saw that. Because I have the big collection. The issue 20 cover is of the Viceroy, and it just looks sinister. It sinister.
Does.
I love it.
Yeah,
love it. Very fun book. Love it. I hope this book gets bought a million times and it gets turned into the coolest show ever made one day, and all of these people get paid lots of money for their beautiful work.
it continues to be this wonderful little gem that we were able to stumble on for comics. That's just been endlessly wonderful to enjoy. I think this is the first time where I felt just like a twinge of a negative, which is what I already mentioned about Billy going through some of the motions again. But like otherwise, it's still an excellent volume. Like all the character stuff is so good, and I still love the world and the art so much that it's like a small hiccup is hardly a problem.
I agree.
Well,
but dang, do we know how hard it is to end stories?
It's true.
So we will find out how this all wraps up.
Yeah.
That is very true. Stay tuned. Be on the lookout on your feeds for a couple of weeks when we'll talk about Wasted Space Volume 5.
The last volume.
The last one. I'm excited. I'm excited to end the journey. I'm sad to see it go, but hey, all good things come to an end.
Sad to see it go, but I love to watch it leave.
That's true. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it. The probably the next book club episode you'll see is Ben's, right?
Yeah.
Yes. As far as like new book club episodes, yes, it'll be Ben's our more regular rotation amongst the four of us on single volumes for Unbelievable Gwenpool. We'll be doing that. Also, you'll start seeing archives up starting already for the Fake Nerd Book Club. We are filling the feed with old book clubs from the Fake Nerd podcast episodes.
What's the first one?
In batches.
Give us a tease.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So like the way it's going to go is, this September, our book club started in September. So we're going back to September. And so you're going to get a bunch of September releases across the month from all our previous years. The first batch is going to be Black Science Volume 1.
Oh my God, that's from...
It's from episode 13.
Oh my God, that's so long ago.
Wow. Justice League: The New Frontier, Batman Elmer Fudd, The Secret Service, the Hydra Cap story, and Marvel Legacy #1.
That's an interesting one. Marvel Legacy #1.
Those are all the September book club releases, right?
No, that's just the first batch that's going to be out in the first week of this.
Okay, wait. Say those again, because like I remember those specifically because Black Science and DC New Frontier were before we all read the book club.
That's true, and those ones come from September 2016. In September 2017, which is the next
7 years ago,
which is the next section in the first batch of releases, is going to be Batman Elmer Fudd, The Secret Service, Hydra Cap as a topic, and Marvel Legacy #1.
Hydra Cap.
I might reread all these books to see how different my opinion has changed in 7 years.
Hydra Cap we did as a topic, and Marvel Legacy we did because that book had just come out and we wanted to discuss like the future of what the Marvel.
Sorry, my bad. I'm looking a little too far ahead. Hydra Cap is actually and Marvel Legacy are actually October. Spoilers.
Never mind.
So it'll actually be Batman Elmer Fudd, Secret Service, and Reborn from 2018.
Reborn, the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo book, Mark Millar, Greg Capullo book.
Mark Millar,
Greg Capullo book. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Where it's in man, Blast from the Past. All these book clubs. Black Science and DC New Frontier. Black Science was Ryan's, and DC New Frontier was mine.
7 years ago.
Yeah, long time. DC New Frontier. I think we did because Darwin Cook had passed away. Not too long before that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. There's also a Star Trek book club floating around out there that'll probably show up that I did with Andy Palastides. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'll get that right. Star Trek Classics, the Mirror Universe Saga. So stay tuned for whenever that pops up. But yeah, that'll do it, guys. So tons of book club, guys. As we talked about, the book club feed is really going to start popping off as we get more into comics and things like that. Especially during the strikes, we want to be assured that we are filling up the time with things that we have been sadly unable to get to now. But now that we have more time, filling it up with some really cool stuff, such as the book club, as you've seen, and of course Basement Arcade, which is the other show that's able to go on currently. Mortal Kombat 11 has just begun. If you're a video game nerd and you want to go check out us playing Mortal Kombat 11, please do. The first episode is out there now, and there's plenty more Basement Arcades coming up, especially as we get into October, when we start scaring the poopy pants out of Ben and perhaps even myself.
I hope so.
tuned.
Sure hope so.
I hope so, indeed. So stay tuned for that all that fun stuff. And of course, if you want to find out what shows are impacted due to the strike and what shows are still able to go on during the strike, check out our website at fakenerdpodcast.com, which is linked below, and you can find everything there. There's also some animation stations that Ben and I are doing as far as like Digimon goes, and we find ways to do some other things. And so stay tuned for all that. You can also check out our TeePublic and our Patreon if you'd like to support us financially. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And you can find us on all the social medias at Fake Nerd Podcast. So that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also find us at fakenerdguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for atomicgeekdom.com and kaijuramamedia.com, where I'm also the website editor. Ben, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, and you can also find me writing for Fusion Gaming Magazine, GoNintendo.com, Old School Gamer Magazine, and playing Mary Frankenstein in D and Dark.
Sparks?
You can find me just looking to get wasted with the last volume at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
What I was gonna say.
Dang.
And Ryan.
You could find me getting spaced over at DJ Tony Snark. You should watch Spaced. It's a great Edgar Wright show from the late 90s with Simon Pegg.
Like we said, stay tuned for the next couple of weeks when we go to Wasted Space Volume 5. But until next time you see us, guys, wherever that is, stay fake nerds.